requiring at thy hand. We can't get senseless to you, right? Unless you dictate to us what we're supposed to teach, how we're supposed to teach, when it's going to come out. Right? That's our job. Let us do our job. Right? And you can do your job as being an avid listener, not an avid add something to the word. That's not your job. Your job is to listen. Be ready. If anybody's standing by, and anyone standing by, let them hold his peace. Right? What?
Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul.
What? No matter if you hurt because I yelled at you or disrespected you, I don't give a fuck about disrespect. Brothers like that, give a fuck because I told you to go take a fucking walk. The Lord don't care. The Lord said, make thy face hard against their face. The Lord prophesied that. So I in turn fulfilled the prophecy. That's all. Nothing extra or special or hateful about it. Alright? He was bucking up, he ain't want to hear what I had to say. Alright, trying to go to the next man, he wasn't get the word out of me. No, that don't work like that. If it ain't good enough for one brother to teach you, you can take a fucking walk. Alright, and may the Lord restore you and your whole family. Alright? Your house shot of rocket. Alright? I hope he died at death of the uncircumcised.
Again, when a righteous man who hath turned from his righteousness and commit iniquity, and I lay a stumbling block before him, he shall die because thou hast not given him warning. He shall die in his sin, and his righteousness which he hath done shall not be remembered, but his blood will I require at thine hand.
Right. So you have to preach, or you will be responsible for that blood. Right? So you can't let the public sway you into a certain spirit, right? That you weren't trying to get into it, or trying to make you navigate in a way in which is not conducive to learning. The proper way, learning everything. The scripture said, "Eat the whole roll." I believe a brother read that. Eat the whole roll. All right. So you got to eat the whole roll. You got more than that? One more verse.
Nevertheless, if thou warn the righteous man that the righteousness sin not, and he doeth not sin, he shall surely live, because he is warned. Also thou hast delivered thy soul.
Right, so you warn him the righteous man. So you warn him, right, and hopefully they'll convert. But because this world, they think they know everything. And that's pretty much the truth. They know every damn thing. So to see what we're doing is a good thing, and so they're not going to actually do anything after change. Like the brother going into. You want to give a donation? Yeah. For an hour? No? Probably use my Scripture say about giving a cup of cold water. The prophets, you know. But even if he Edomite, maybe he might be he might get to serve the Lord. Well, I don't know, the Lord might fuck him up. He might get to serve Israelite that was that died in the sin. But the Lord, his service might be close to holy hell for him, unholy hell for him. So he might live if he's a he. But that was a good thing.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 11, verse 8. Answer not before thou hast heard the cause, neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk. And that's what the individual was doing. We would say something, and the other brother would try to get a point across. Oh, no, just talk about this, why you talking about Esau? Why you talking about him? But we have to talk about everything. The whole book has to be brought out. And we try to edify the whole congregation of the, first and foremost, the elect and the nations too. Because we gotta prophesy the downfall. Everybody gotta know what the hell is going on.
Yeah, the word made a prophet to the nation.
That's right.
Right. Yeah, not just to him. Or a couple of people. Right. Then we're going to change this. This is now.
It's Ecclesiastes 5:1. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of Yahweh, and be more ready to hear than to give sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil.
Right? They consider not that we're evil. So when you come into the prophet, which we are, you have to give us some sort of honor. Honor means value, respect, value. You have to value us as being men that know what the hell we're talking about. But that's the whole issue. They don't actually believe it. They don't believe that there is such thing as a new world order. We look at the Bible now. Let's go ahead and read it. Let's read it.
God, this is real quick. This is here on the one. If we eat. This is book of Job, Ayah, chapter 20 and 10. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hand shall restore their goods.
Right. Well, there's certain benefits that Esau and John give us right now. They're not going to go to nothing. But then our goods going to be restored in the kingdom. Because the scripture says we're going to suffer the rest of the Gentiles.
Yeah, dude. Just something quick. Just lining up the point the brother made earlier. Being that we have to be balanced, we have to give the judgment to all, right? And I'm going to prove it through the scriptures, because we are basically the mouthpiece of the Heavenly Father, right? And being in the position of a prophet to foretell the events, we're telling what happens if you're an Israelite and you come back to the faith, or if you're a two-third, or if you're a heathen. So we cover all areas, we cover all grounds. We leave no stone unturned. All right? This is second. So you can't come to the Lord and say, oh, I didn't know. See, the Lord gave an adequate amount of time for the word to go out, and for those to be condemned who will be condemned, and for those who will be justified who will be justified. There's no unrighteousness in the Heavenly Father. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10. It says, for we must all appear before the judgment seat of Hamashiach and Hamushai, that everyone may receive the things done in his body according to that he had done, whether it be good or bad. Now, yes, this is primarily focused on Israelites, but guess what? Because Esau, of all is the wicked, we got to tell him that because of his unrighteous dealings, his injuries gotten by deceit, he's going into captivity perpetually. The other heathen underneath them. Okay? So we cover all the judgment strands, because every living soul is going to have to, come before the Heavenly Father. You know? You want to know why America is going to be destroyed like a little fire? Because the deeds of man are evil. Exactly. There's no exemption. There's no exemption. Alright? The only exemption is for the Lord's elect. And that's because they're covered by the blood, but they repent.
Answers!
The problem is with the need of right. Okay? Answers. And they had a whole bunch of things on the side. But if you want to go to the source of the problems, okay, you got to go to the Bible. Because the Bible tells all. Okay? It's a book of the living word.
Right.
All right? But the thing with it is, the majority of our people we know are going to die because they're not pleading the right and just cause. All right? But they don't know what the hell's going on. They're over here protesting diseases, okay, and conditions on earth, but not giving heed to the word from the mouth of the prophets, which is telling you why these things have happened.
Right.
A bunch of damn fools. But I just got one more. This is verse 11. 2 Corinthians 5 and 11. Knowing therefore the terror of the Lord will persuade men, but we are made manifest unto the power, and I trust are also made manifest in your consciences. See, within our minds, we understand the Lord is the King of terrors. What he's getting ready to do is going to be unfathomable, horrific. That's why men's hearts are going to fail them for fear. But in between, you know, like I said, we understand they got to play their part, we got to play ours. You know, we're pretty much, you know, chess pieces on the chessboard. And the Lord got designated positions for all. All right? Lord's will, we endure, we're on the right side of judgment. Everybody else, the Most High going to destroy them.
Got some for you, brother? Got some for you? This is Isaiah chapter 34, verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all the things that come forth of it.
Right? The Lord Matthew 24 chapter said the same thing.
Yeah.
And going to gather all the nations. I get to divide the Lord's elect from the rest of the people. Go ahead.
All right, verse 2. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all the armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter.
Right, so what's the ultimate destruction that's going to happen to the nation? Literally. What's the ultimate thing that's going to happen to the nation? They want to go down, but they're circumcised. Then they go into slavery. Some of them going to die. Majority of the third world, the rest of them going into slavery. The ones that are left. Right? The scripture said the whole earth is going to be burnt. Few men left in it.
Right. That was the point.
Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sighed and that cried for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
Right. Mark upon the forehead of them that sighed and cried. So the majority of people that come up to us, they're going to be full of shit. Alright? So 9 times out of 10, or 7 times out of 10, the people that gave it, they're going to stop. Alright? That's what we're talking. Majority of people that don't do it, they're stop. So the outside where the movie was left, that one. Revelation 13 chapter.
You know it's going to be similar to the way that it was in the days of Noah, because the Lord said that, as in the times of Noah, they were eating, drinking, and giving into marriage. Meaning for all the evils, okay, that Noah had warned about, similar to how all the evils we prophesied about, because it's known for, listen, what's coming is not known as a second death for nothing. Alright? So these spirits of these people have been pacified. Here it is, all these great atrocities and evils are going on, but yet they still believe in this false sense of hope. Okay? The American dream. Alright, being able to break out of systematic oppression. How the hell are you going to break out of systematic oppression when the rulership hasn't changed? We're still prisoners. We're still behind enemy lines. What this man is doing to the people in this country, he's doing around the world. You people are fucking retarded, man. You get so mad. And the scriptures would testify to be angry, because the Lord said, be angry and sin not. We have a reason to be infuriated. This is part of the sighing and crying that the men and the women and the believers do on a daily basis. Right? You might not necessarily be out here in the spirit that I'm in, but for the sisters at home and the children learning about their heritage, they pray, they plead with the Heavenly Father, man. About the kingdom. That's what the Our Father is all about. The kingdom come, and thy will be done, in earth as be in heaven. So you're a part of that sign, you're a part of that crime, the abomination that was done to Israel. Right?
I spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. This is Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
Right. Hold it there. And the thing is, to believe this word is not something that we decided to do. We didn't decide, okay, oh, it just makes sense. No, we were addicted to the word that we heard, and then we wanted to actually teach the things that we heard. Wait for the Lord to let up, just to follow the truth. Now he didn't do that. He woke some people up just to follow the truth. You got certain people that come to the faith, all right, to get this message and they fall away. All right, they don't have their mark. That's exemption from the judgment. All right, how shall I raise up his elect? All right, to be delivered. If we don't want to elect, the Lord wants to deliver from Esau, Edom. All right, Esau, Edom is replacing the money's already, majority of it is already mostly digital anyway. Right? Most of it is actually digital, not even cash. I get it. I thought most of it is digital. I get it. That's very good. Most of it is actually digital. They transfer the banking line. What they're going to do is they're going to get rid of the now they're going to get rid of the different central banks around the world. They're going to stop printing cash. And they're going to start printing more equity. I got selling. They have different means of electronic transfer. And then slowly fizzling out cash. Eventually, it's going to get to a point where they're not going to accept cash anymore. And not accepting cash anymore is going to have to be 100% electronic. They can do just through an app on the phone or a car, and then they transition to the office and find a life. That's officially where it's going to get to. Market of peace, ultimately, is plentiful or nothing. So that's different from the mark says right there. So I'm going to give you that definition of the mark before. Not important different from the mark. Revelation 13 chapter. Might be that Revelation 13 chapter also. Because it's a mark that they're going to force on the whole world as a new monetary, new means of buying and selling. New means of buying and selling before they do that, they get this cash.
Got it right here. It comes from H8420. The Hebrew word there is tawab. It means a sign, it's going right to the point, under section A of outline of biblical usage, as a sign of exemption from judgment.
Right, as a sign, as exemption from judgment. That's different from Paragma in the book of Revelation, 13th chapter. Right? That's an exemption from judgment. But the Lord's election is exempt from being judged. So if you are out to the left, you're not going to take it. You're not going to do it. So if you see that you go from left to right, you're going to stay away from it. Why are you going to go first? You're going to see it. Let's say my take a trip, right? Or my father or my mother take a trip. At that point, I'm getting on communication with it. I'm moving away from it. I'm getting on it. If I get on the phone, you know? I'm doing everything I can to do it. I'm living with the person. Okay? I'm going to pack myself up to leave. Right? I'm not even telling them anything. Okay. I already arrived. Okay, yeah. I might take care of it later. Why are you doing what you're doing? Take my shit in the week. nothing to do with that person or person. After they get the check. Alright? If you're asking simple ass questions, let me know somebody to get the check. That shows you that a lot of Israelites out there you know what to do. Alright? You know not to be around somebody that doesn't do it. Read through the sin, the top of the most wicked, evil sin you can do in the scripture. You're trying to keep asking, well, what am I going to do about the bad thing?
The question is, what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do about it? What the hell are you going to do about it? You're supposed to have the sense of, you got to get the hell away from those people. Why the scripture say to keep not cooking for the sinners. You're asking us, that's what prove that a lot of you are going to the Bible say. You like don't read the scriptures. He's telling you these things for the benefit of the pride of your life.
Right.
Alright? Not for you to just watch up at the game full on the street on Saturday. Alright?
Salakia. Mark, St. Mark, chapter 8, verse 34. And when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, whosoever come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me.
Right, let him deny himself. Alright, so if he saw keep the devil off the benefits, he's supposed to protect him. Deny that benefit. If you're hungry, you're set up.
Huh?
You're supposed to worship the Lord. Instead of worship the Lord like God. Love.
Right.
And also says, man should not eat bread alone. Like every word that's issued by God from God. Taking the chicken is just nonsense. Show you don't understand the spiritual. Say that the spiritual will not have.
I got a quick precept. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 32, verse 1, and I'm going to make the point in verse 2. So Psalms 32 and 1, and this is basically outlining the brothers that are going to end up having the exemption from judgment. Okay? It's Psalm 32 and 1. Blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Because those men already got it in their mind that they're not going to be taken no more like the chip. See, this, what you see brothers doing is a direct result of us repenting, cleaning ourselves up, and keeping our temple clean so we can build ourselves up in the faith. All right? So we're worthy enough. Don't be taking no pictures without our permission.
We're learning. Because they giving y'all like, what are they? You guys are learning. Knowledge is power. I love you guys. I was just talking to them brothers up there. Y'all should link up, man. We all.
Why don't we do what we do? We're going to take doing what we're doing.
Oh.
We don't need your advice or input on that.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
We can.
Oh, you don't need it? All right. Well, God bless you, brothers. I love you guys.
The Lord's name is not God. The Lord's name is Yahweh Shai. Right? Did they tell you that? They told you that? The name of the Lord?
I love you.
They told you the name of the Lord?
I love you.
Yeah, well, I don't love you. Good.
Yeah,
I
read
know
it
you
on.
don't,
It
but I'm
says,
still
blessed
loving.
is he
I'm
whose
still loving.
transgression is forgiven, whose sin
Still
is
love
covered.
you. Just like I'm
Blessed
still
is the
love
man
them.
unto
Praise the
whom the
Lord.
Lord imputeth not iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no guile. So the men in which the Lord is going to redeem, the men in which the Lord in whose sin is going to be covered, are those in whose spirit lies no guile. I have the definition for the word guile right here before me. All right, comes from the Hebrew Yah, all right, which means laxness, slackness, slacking, deceit, or treachery. Now, either one of those words apply beautifully, okay, because most of our people are filled with laxness, slackness, deceit, and treachery, all right? Meaning there's no sincerity with them, there's no genuineness about the spirit, okay? That's why Jake will ask such a simple ass question like, what am I going to do with one of my parents, relatives, brothers and sisters, or uncles and mothers, or fucking girlfriend or wife, take the chick? We gotta leave them. The example that we have is Lot's wife. They were given a direct commandment not to look back. She looked back and was turned into a pillar of salt. Meanwhile, Lot moved on. So some of you guys are not sincere. the scriptures tell you, blessed is he who readeth. There's a reason why we're reading and learning. Okay? Because we're going to have to apply these things. The Lord said that he was coming to bring division. Why? Because of beliefs. And because of the actions that were going to be a direct result of those beliefs. And there were going to be opposing beliefs, because you're going to have those that believe in the faith and the truth, and those that don't, even amongst your own personal company. Understand? So, now I want to focus on that word treachery, all right, as part of the definition for the word guile there in Psalms 32 and 2. And it says betrayal or trust, or betrayal of trust, deceptive action or nature. Deceptive action or nature. Okay? So, we got a lot of our people that are very deceptive. Alright? And they're not really about the Lord's business. So, another word is being disloyal. So we're putting, like the brother said, our trust and hope in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, that if we get into a jam, that once we refuse the mark of the beast, which is the Almighty microchip, we're counting on the Lord to provide for us, even if it means we have to suffer for a period of time. We're not going to sell ourselves short of the salvation that it is to be, all right, by taking our RFID microchip and then being thrown in that lake of fire, which is going to be the thermonuclear destruction, which is the punishment or judgment for taking the RFID microchip. We're willing to suffer, okay, in hopes that we're going to be redeemed, than to sell ourselves short, sell our integrity away, okay, by doing this man's evil work, which is taking his chip or fulfilling his agenda in any way.
Lukewarm Israelite. That was the devil that he's a typical Israelite like this. He's listening to every camp. All right, so he should wake up. Wake up. How would you wake up? They don't teach the Lord. They didn't even know the Lord's name. The first thing he should have done was what is the Lord's name? Right? That's from a new God he never seen. He probably already learned. I said, Yahweh, I was trying to dealing with the word about people. The Lord said it's a shame for a man to have long hair. You're supposed to have long hair. If your hair goes past the neck, it doesn't be cut.
Yeah, if it's down on your shoulders, man, then...
Yahweh Shai is only dealing with his elect, not dealing with these street dudes. Right? Yahweh Shai didn't choose them. I want this one. Read Isaiah 60.
It's Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people.
Right, he was in complete darkness. Making a fashion statement. Glasses.
Son, he was a covering of love.
Yeah. That's not a Hebrew Israelite thing. I love you anyway. It's not a Hebrew Israelite thing. He can't, no way he can be with us. Alright? He had the opportunity to learn the truth. And all he was concerned about was love.
Yeah, that's a tactic of the devil. You gotta let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. Alright? There's a very clear distinction between those that got the truth and the faith and those that don't. And it's your job as a man to determine who's got it and who doesn't.
Well, the scripture said our people are impudent and hard-hearted. Impudent, okay? We have to have a strong mind against what we're teaching. And that's cool. The Lord will destroy. We read in the first chapter. You're going to laugh at your calamity. Alright? You're going to laugh. You're going to laugh. How we outside, we raised up. Two-thirds of Israel to learn the truth. We raised them up. We destroyed. We brought some of you in proximity to us so they could be exposed. So they can be judgment for that spot. He kept some of you dead asleep. Right? You can get judged.
Isaiah chapter 60 verse 2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and darkness and growth. It's Isaiah chapter 60 verse 2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people, but Yahweh shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee.
Right, because the Lord actually comes going to come in a very elaborate fashion. It's going to detail the way it's right. Right? But two-thirds of Israel is going to keep an eye for Isaiah 6 and 9. Right? There's no way that two-thirds of Israel can understand the word. Right? They're still learning about who won the debate, Biden or Trump.
Yeah.
They're concerned with that. They're concerned with the laws that Obama put in place. They're concerned with the laws that Biden put in place versus what the law that Trump put in place and what he's going to put in place. All right, now Shai, he's a candidate, okay, was set up by
Right now.
they were set up on the left-hand side, rules of Babylon. So, you're trying to choose between two wicked choices. Right? Two words like
Isaiah chapter 60 verse 2, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people, but Yahweh shall rise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee.
right, so darkness. And then you got the people that said darkness celebrate light. So our people are engaged in the election. Now, so what's going to happen? Are they going to call the National Guard, church buildings when the elections? It'll be fun. So when is Biden winning? And are they going to Democrats, Republicans, go out and start killing each other? Who knows? They might call the National Guard like they did with the riot. And I guess when the next deal, they might call the National Guard in. Yeah, for the riot. If it's a riot, and they call the National Guard, they might do the same thing for the election. Like, you're more partisan than that. You might be suspicious. So we need like running
Yeah, I got a testimony on my way down, coming down on 95. I was waiting to speak on it, and the Spirit's bringing it up. So I feel like the Spirit, this is the right time to bring this up. But on the billboard, it said, should America divorce into two countries? And the word divorce obviously means to separate from something that was once connected. So, I mean, in the scriptures, we know that there is going to be division amongst the people. And this might be the springboard for a lot of that to take place. Because either way this thing goes, it's going to add fuel to the fire. It doesn't matter if Trump is reelected or Biden gets up in there, okay, and the Democrats get up in there, because the tensions are so high right now that no matter which way it goes, you're going to have immediate conflict. And I believe that you are going to see, just based upon prophecy, this is all tying into it, you're going to see an outbreak of riots, looting, violence. These people riot and get better in shape when the rivalry football teams, get together and go at it. And if it's in their hometown and they lose, these people lose their damn minds. So how much, even if they win, but how much more during a time like no other, where a lot is riding on this so-called election, right? Like the brother said, a lot of these people are invested. You got Jake really invested in the Democrats, and you have certain crazy Jakes that are in the Republican side, walking along Esau. Black people for Trump. So either way, this nation's already divided, but I wanted to share that testimony. Like I said, I was coming down 95, and I saw a billboard that said, should America divorce itself into two countries?
And to tell you that
right.
Mark chapter 3 and verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand.
Again, that's a sign that this place is dark. It's finished, it's through. It's on its way out. Okay, out with the old and with the new. The old kingdom, ruled by the Edomites, is being destroyed to make way for the kingdom of the nation of Israel. That's what we're seeing, the transition of power. You can't get around it.
The vote is now, you don't actually get the vote. The elite choose both candidates.
Right.
The elite choose both candidates, and then the vote goes from the people to the state to choose the candidate. So you really don't have that much influence. Any at all, really. You don't directly get to choose what's going on. Either way, both candidates are controlled by the people. The city council are the ones that control like the law, that control what's present in the office. The law
Hey, brother. Okay, say, they had debate. I don't know before yesterday, but brother, the elder brother from Vegas, he said it's going to be that Joe Biden said it's going to be a dark winter. And he's out, and that means that was like a military saying that the brother brought out. But also there was an Edomite that was holding up guns, saying if Trump don't win, we're going to hit the street and it's going to be hell out here in the street. So the vision is coming, like the elder brother said.
And he also said that they both received 9 both presidents say what the world that's also
Like, you gotta understand that these two jackasses, known as president nominees, all they are is talking heads. It's two sides to the same coin. All right, if they can bring in the New World Order for the Democrats, they're gonna go with the Democratic president. Remember, the whole way that a president gets into office is through campaign contributions. It all comes down to money. Really, it all comes down to money. Okay? So they vote in the president through money. All right, so whoever gets the most monetary backing ultimately becomes the president. It's really how it is. And if they can do it through the Republicans, then they're going to use Donald Trump. But ultimately, they're just figureheads. All right, hence the term puppets, because all they're doing is appeasing to the people to see which side it's going to land on, to get the people to go which way the elites wanted to go. So all this talk about, deregulating this, making change here, the only thing that they're going to really do is bring in that New World Order, okay, by different means. Okay? That's all.
Right.
You wouldn't trust the people, we wouldn't trust the people that that's why only certain people are invited to debate and on those platforms. They're invited by the news network.
Right, and you see a lot of these people, they end up dropping out of the race. Why? Because they didn't have enough finance.
Obviously.
They couldn't keep up.
It's funny because it's nice.
And that's a good number. The whole saying, you got to follow where the money's going. That has a lot of, a lot of credence.
System that you have to get, you have to have a choice. You have to be invited to the debate.
Right.
If you're running for president, you're not being invited to the debate.
Right.
And that's not even balanced.
No.
You don't even know about a candidate that's running because you haven't seen him on TV.
Right.
It's the same, two different sides of the same coin.
That's it.
Right? That's another reason. What the Revelation
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb.
Babylon America, right? Which is in the likeness of the first beast. Right?
And he spake as a dragon. and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose daily wound was healed.
Daily wound was healed, meaning that the Roman Empire came back into power to Rabbi American with
In Revelation 13 and verse 11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
Alright, they had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. That's what there's different parties in the Babylon and earth. Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Those are two main parties in Babylon and America. How God made them do that. That's the system that the Lord said on the left hand side. And we read earlier about none that is divided against the kingdom that is divided against itself shall not stand.
And you know what? You'll always have this division because we live in this idea of a democracy, which is not really a democracy. But we're going to go with that. But think about this. How can 51% be able to control what the other 49 has to do or say? Think about it. You're always going to have division that way. Why should 51% have control over what the other 49 is able to do and say? So it's a bullshit system.
Yeah, Biden was trying to say, if you are Israelite anyway, it's no avail. That's actually to the detriment. You're putting Edomites in office. Or you're putting the spirit, taking the time, you're just saying that you're not doing it, but you're always participating in a system that's not conducive, that's not in the eyes of the Lord, something to the devil, something that the Lord wants you to do, right? To add to his ministry. Like if you're not fulfilling the Lord on the right hand side, it's good, I'm going out the vote.
But if they participate continually, they're just perpetuating their own enslavement. Because they're not waking up to the truth and how the governing body is really establishing the Yahweh Shah. Because we're really pushing we are pushing a new world order. A new heaven and a new earth, right? Because that really is derived from the scriptures. You know? But they're doing it in wickedness. That's the difference. They're doing it on the left. We're doing it on the right hand side. The term Lucifer, that really applies to us. We're the real light bearers. You know? I'm talking in its true sense. Alright? In its true sense, Yahweh Shai is the ultimate light bearer. You know, but Esau adopted it into himself. That's why he calls himself the illuminated one. But that's on the left. Remember, everything is one against another, double against another. Left, you have the left-hand side and the right-hand side. But yeah, if they continue to participate, really what they're doing is participating in their own enslavement, like the brother's saying, because we're going, the Edomites in the office that have only one thing in mind, and that's to keep you particularly at the bottom, while they make their money off you, okay, they continue to go out, you know, and destroy the world. I mean, that's pretty much that's the summary of it. As long as Edomite continues to stay in power, and you continue to have this illusion about yourself that by voting these people to represent you, when you're not representative of what you believe at the true core, that's it. And again, we know how these things are funded. The federal banks are the ones that are hiring lobbyists to go before different congressmen and women to get the influence on these bills being passed. That's how these different things, that's why you ever ask yourself how these fucking bills get put into law. Like, wait a minute, when did we ever vote that in? When's the last time Philadelphians voted for some goddamn speed cameras on fucking Route 1? Who the hell in their right mind is going to vote? There's already an overkill with speed traps, the amount of police officers, as well as the parking tickets, but the air support that they have, right? Because they tell you that traffic is monitored via aircraft. And now we have speed cameras? You mean to tell me that they're not totally extorting the American people out of their money? Oh yeah, it's okay if you speed, we'll just send you a ticket in the mail. So it has nothing to do with what's right and wrong. It just has to do with taking your money. And yeah, again, I don't want to deviate too far, but the thing of it is it all ties it together and brings about the point that we are living in a corrupt system. Okay? And it affects you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans the most. You suffer the worst out of this system. It is by design. It's by design. Okay?
Lord,
Remember, during the time of 1776, when they were, because they always had plans of a New World Order, of course it evolved, but going back to 1776, the whole New World Order or agenda was that they wanted to oppress and keep Jake at the bottom. That was always the end game, how to keep the Lord's people enslaved. While we continue to stay in power, that was always the end game. But of course it evolved because prophecy was written, right? So now we have technology in play, right? We're living in the beast system, which certain things had to take place in the prophecy in order for that to arise. Now we're seeing it come to pass where the mark of the beast, all right, or like microchip is more prevalent. And see, that's an avenue that Esau's trying to use as part of his New World Order agenda to keep in power, to stay in rulership. Right. Yep. The brother mentioned about the money system going all digital. I believe it was Bank of America's executive CEO came out and said that they are pushing, okay, for that very thing. To basically fizzle out cash and to use a digital currency exclusively. So it is not just a conspiracy theory, okay? It's a conspiracy fact. They want to do that.
Yeah, precept for you, brother. I was trying to get this precept, Salaki, straight to the point. This is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decree.
Right, and that's an unrighteous decree because why? You basically use a lot of freedoms, man. The fact that they can take the system and make it digital means they can track every move, man. Okay? That's not just balance. There's nothing righteous about that. To be able to invade every aspect of your private life, that's an abomination, man.
Yeah, but then some people go too far.
So, and that's just one unrighteous decree. There's manifold of unrighteous decrees. All right, forcing people to have to vote. How many brothers got text messages consecutively, one after another? You want to know why? Because nobody's really trying to vote like that. So they just trying to pressure people to make it fucking vote, to make it look good, make the numbers look good. Unrighteous decrees. See, nobody's full of unrighteous decrees. You got a point you want to make?
No.
Yeah, so this transition of the dollar bill, which the dollar bill is an unrighteous decree because there's no real substance behind the dollar bill. It's fiat, meaning the only thing that's really giving it the purchasing power that it has is because the government says that this is what we're going to use in exchange for resources. It has no real intrinsic value. Like gold and silver, has no tangible wealth or value. Okay? And gold and silver, at its core, cannot be manipulated. Okay? It's purified and it has a weight. It has a weight, it has a measure. It is universally sound. It's understood that it's a precious mineral resource to the earth. Okay, that can be used. It has multifaceted capacities. Okay? The dollar bill only has one use. All right, which gives it the ability to control it.
It's debt.
It's debt.
I find that.
Debt. That was the next point I was going to
Oh,
make.
come on.
No, but that's the spirit. Okay, that's how. When you do your research, okay, I don't want to exhaust the point. When you do your research, you find out that the dollar bill is no more than a debt note by design, because we borrow this money and it puts us, okay, basically in debt to the central banks, right? When the banks borrow their money, they have to go before the treasury. The treasury goes to the central banks, and they get what is called bonds, which means the money that they borrow, okay, they have to pay back plus the interest that's agreed upon. That's why it's a bond note or a debt note. So you can understand, because you're borrowing money from somebody, and now they're putting usury on it, okay, or an interest rate. So now you're already down, because it's not that you're going to just have to owe the money back that you borrow. You're going to have to owe what the interest is too. So you're enslaved, you're captive. That's how people get into financial debt. Credit cards, bank loans, car loans. See, people don't.
What y'all doing?
Okay, I make $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. Let's say you have a man, woman, they have a combined income of, let's say, $80,000. Let's say the man's the breadwinner, he's bringing the most money home, the woman, she's making maybe $20,000, $30,000. And in the combined income, it's like 80 to 90 grand. But they want to go and buy a $200,000 home. Guess what? You're already in debt because you're spending more money than you're making. Now you add the car in there and all the things that you need to survive. This is how these people get put into debt. But remember, Esau got it to where he plays on people's impulses. He's selling you the dream. He's using that witchcraft on you to get you to act impulsively. Okay? So you're constantly going into consumer debt. And remember, the biggest asset really that this white man has is the female. Because they own the majority of the consumer debt. They own the majority of the educational debt. All right? Remember, the woman is the weaker vessel by design. So a woman is inclined to live this lavish lifestyle, but she's never happy. She's always going to want more. She doesn't know what it is, all right, to really have to suffer right now. And she's destroying herself through all that pleasure. She's overstimulated. But anyway, yeah, that's how these people get into debt. But it's sold to them that way, right? The American dream, keeping up with the Joneses. Why? Because people want to be seen in the public eye that they're worth something. And people are basically measuring their worth by their substance, which is all vanity. Because at any time, that stuff can be taken away. Real riches in the scriptures, because this is going to endure forever, man. Point blank, period. Again, the Great Reset is really going to be when America's destroyed and the Lord's elect, okay, and Yahweh Shai is ruling the earth in righteousness.
The Lord, he told us about the what's right. So Israel judgments for destruction. They're trying to put in office Biden, put in office Trump. They're two bad choices. The end of America is still going to be total destruction. So Revelation 15 chapter.
Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed.
First of all, that new world belongs to the crown. Yep. New world belongs Lord, but all came newest weapon, new order of the world. Or no verse order of the world. Alright, new order of the world. Alright, but they established America because started with a new order. But when it comes to its full fruition, alright, that's what we are for message. That's what ran all the slaves. That's what they set up in the kingdom. That's what's coming to full fruition. It says, Corpus Uno. We have different nations that came into Babylon, America, and formed the country. Like mainly, you might say we call it England. But you had other ones too. Germany, French, Spain.
Just to back you up, I believe it was Jordan Maxwell was the one that brought out the fact that, and there's been others, but I'm just going to quote Jordan Maxwell, went into the significance of the birth certificate as well as the social security number, which are all signs of ownership. Like the birth certificate of birth is something that has to do with ships when they're basically transporting cargo. Okay, I'm not going to go into the whole breakdown, brothers can do the research for themselves. But if you look up the history behind a birth certificate, meaning a child coming from the waters or through the waters, again, those are terms that they use to regulate resources. Right? So I'm not going to go fully into it, but the social security number is an identification, all right? But remember, when you're a prisoner, you get assigned a number. Oh, he's 543-287. Inmate 67892. All right? People are assigned social security numbers because it's a sign of ownership. Same thing with the birth certificate, and I know the brother was going to say, you know, that's traded within the stock market, right? Because you have a worth set on you. Again, this is stuff that you need to go and do your own homework on. But I wanted to make the point because from that point moving forward, the Lord even said there's nothing new under the sun. This is something that Esau's been trying to accomplish for a very long time. And he's always had certain things in place to try to keep control over the people, especially Jacob. And bringing it into modern terms.
Back in it wasn't the time.
Right. Exactly.
The Lord disappointed.
Con. And so now we're at a time where that new system that Esau's trying to put in place is going to be that RFID microchip, that mark of the beast system, all right, or the beast system, and the mark of the beast, the mark of that beast system, what I meant to say, is going to, again, be that brand, okay, and form of total control over the people, especially Jacob.
That's why I want to make that difference. Put us back in slavery.
Put us back in slavery, right?
Yeah, we're the ones that are known as slaves. Okay? We're the ones going down. We're the ones who give me we're the ones that know as slaves. Alright? Not the Chinese.
I do have a precept.
Not the dedication.
Right.
We're the ones that know as slaves.
Right, the captives.
The children of the captivity. We're sons of the captivity. That was the captivity of Babylon. And the new Babylon. Like the captivity of Syria.
Right.
And the new Assyria.
Right. Yeah, come, because you said that the Most High winked, but he hasn't forgotten. This is Ecclesiastes 3:15. It says that which hath been is now, and that which is to be had already been, and the power requireth that which is past.
Well, he requires that which is past. But apparently, you know, the consensus is, well, you got to kind of look at the sin that was done in the past 40, 50, 60 years. Looking back, well, that exempts that we saw from Judgment Day.
Right.
If we just look at the 60s and beyond,
Right.
then that's when Jake started to fuck it up a lot.
Yeah.
So that they can blame us. But if you look at the whole picture, then Esau, there's no way he didn't see it. Look at the whole picture.
Yeah, because you got to remember.
That's the fact.
Yeah, you got to remember. Esau was given the advantage. It tells you that in the scripture. It says, basically, man, hold on, give me a second. He'll come back to me. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet he will not learn righteousness. So he's been given the favor, meaning he's been given the dominion of the earth and the influence. And the scriptures tell you that as the king is, so shall the people be. See, Esau, he has to pay because he's had the influence this whole time. You know, the culture of Jake, you know, we put our own little twist on it, but these ideals that Jake has been accustomed to adopting in his own life, it's come from the Edomite. From his belief system, which is Christianity, from his way of dressing and style, niggas wearing tight ass pants. Where does that come from, man?
Esau. That's all the way.
Come on, bro.
That's all the way.
All Esau, all Jake did was popularize that fucking madness.
Yeah.
But Jacob will pay for the part that he played. But going to the point, Esau used his influence and used it constantly in a wicked way, and he has to pay for that. You have to pay for touching the apple of the Lord's eye. All right, both physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You got to pay for that. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. How did we get into captivity? Okay, be a force of the sword, but through policy, through witchcraft. All right, through doctrine. That's how we were led into captivity. That's how we be led into captivity right now, man. It's so simple. We believe in the voting system. That's how they're being led into captivity.
I got Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 7. For the mysteries of the iniquities doeth already work.
Yeah, the Edomites back then were working them. They're evil,
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
You know, Paul was privy to it.
That's right.
All right, but we even understand that more.
Yep.
All right, this man is fully invested into doing the working of Satan, man.
That's right.
His working cometh after Satan.
That's right.
He's not rich,
right.
which is the adversary. This man is the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. Go ahead.
Only he who now let it will let it until...
Exactly. Only he who now let it. Who is allowing this Edomite to be in power? Who is allowing this Edomite to basically oppress Jacob because he is the Most High sword? I gave the answer away. The Most High. Get out. Go ahead.
Only he who now let it will let it until he be taken out the way.
And now we're starting to see the Edomite being taken out of the way because he's being exposed. So he's no longer able to control the narrative, and that's part of him losing his power. He's not able to just, say some smooth words. All right, he's not able to tell those forked lies like he's accustomed to telling and getting away with it. Because the Lord put the spirit of his people, all right, put that spirit back into his people to know who we are, to identify with being the Israelites. Like the brother saying, we're the oppressed. We're the ones that need salvation. Right?
Got one more verse?
Yeah, go ahead.
And then shall the wicked be revealed.
The wicked is being revealed. Again, everything in its proper time and place. Right? So there was a time where it was a secret, essentially.
Yeah.
Because we lost our heritage, we didn't know who we were, and this man was able to lie about who he was.
Right.
And for a period of time get away with it.
Right.
Right? But we understand that through prophecy again, right? That the Lord allowed us to know who we are. Right? Through who? Abba Bivens. Okay? He was going to bring the sons of the hearts back to the fathers. And again, through succession of prophecy, here we are today, where Jake is back on their feet again. The breath of life is in them. Okay, and the Lord's scattered elect are waking up. All right? Like we've never seen before. And part of that was because the Lord revealed who the wicked is. All right? Through Abba Bivens, through multiple head leaders in Israel. High Priest Ariyah, High Priest Yaquab, King Mashar, they were all notable individuals, okay? Exceptional men that the Lord put his spirit on to reveal particular things. And then, of course, it worked its way down to our apostles, right? Because the truth had to evolve. With prophecy, truth had to evolve, right? Because new things were happening. And through our apostles and their report, and through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, we know all the tricks of the devil, man. We've been made wise through the spirit to understand these things. And so now it's time for the judgment. So the wicked has to be revealed, and the reason why he has to be revealed is because he has to be judged. So you have to understand for which reasons to why you are to be judged before it happens. Hence why the Lord's a just power. So he's giving you what you're being judged for. Go ahead.
That's one point. And prophecy has to be played out.
That's it.
That's one of the key points. So whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth.
The spirit of his mouth is the prophets.
Right.
Read.
And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
The brightness of his coming is the ultimately it's going to be the concentrated fire from the chariots, okay, simultaneously while the missiles are being fired.
Right.
Done.
That was the point, but I got another verse if you want.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's beautiful. That's how the wicked are being revealed, through the spirit of the Lord's mouth. The Lord put his words in our mouths, okay, according to the knowledge that he's given us through the gift of faith.
Yep.
We have been given the ability to believe in the true words of the Heavenly Father and bring these things to light. The Lord said, surely the Lord power doeth nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets. Right? That's how we're able to sound the alarm. Because before the Lord does something, he tells you of it.
That's right.
So this is all, it's powerful, man.
This is 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there be a falling away first.
Right, there had to be a falling away. And when did that happen? Notably 70 AD. Okay, which, as the apostles been going into, really even before 70 AD. Because 70 AD, was almost basically when it was brought to full fruition, okay, in a sense. It really happened more so about 65, 66. Okay? It was a succession because they were constantly trying, all right, until they basically eventually became successful. But you had wicked gates help that come about. And Jake got to learn the history, man. About Titus, Vespasian, okay, how the Romans sacked Jerusalem, besieged Jerusalem, surrounded it, okay? So that falling away happened in 70 AD, the beginning of it, okay? Meaning we lost our heritage, bro. We lost everything. We lost our language, lost our heritage. Okay?
Sir.
Go ahead.
And that man of sin be revealed.
Right, and now we're in a time where we're coming back to our heritage, our nationality, our identity. All right, we're able to also identify the enemy. We're also able to identify the wicked. Okay? Which is the Edomite. Okay? The wicked in the Bible, all right, the classification of the wicked is the Edomite.
Yeah. Right.
And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Yeah, that's another. See, Esau got a lot of names, which he's known by in the scriptures. The mystery of iniquity, son of perdition, the wicked. All right? Those are all terms that are really representative of the so-called white man.